Chapter 1. The Villain's Opening Night. The trophy was heavy in Jiang Chen's hand. Solid crystal, expensive, and utterly meaningless at 2 in the morning. He turned it over in his dressing room, catching the fluorescent light. Best Actor, Golden Orchid Awards. His third. At 28, he had everything: fame, wealth, a face that launched 1,000 magazine covers, and a career so hot it could melt steel. And he was exhausted. "You should sleep," his manager said from the doorway. Li Wei had been with him for a decade. He knew the signs, the hollow eyes, the mechanical smile, the way Jiang Chun rehearsed his acceptance speech even when no one was listening. "I'm fine," Jiang Chun lied. He stood, stretched, and struck a pose. "I could play a corpse nailed to a wall and still win awards. Watch." He slumped against the wall, tongue out, eyes rolled back. Li Wei threw a towel at him. "Go home. You have the iron and silk at 9. Jiang Chen groaned. Iron and Silk. Another historical drama. A Komio villain role. He'd skimmed the novel on the flight back from location. Something about a scheming noble's son who bullies the heroine and gets executed by a stoic general in Chapter 3. Standard fare. He could play it in his sleep. He fell asleep in the car. That was his first mistake. His second mistake was dreaming. The cold woke him. Not the dry cold of an over-air-conditioned car, but the wet, rotting cold of a dungeon. Stone walls. Straw on the floor. The smell of mildew and old blood. Jiang Chen's eyes snapped open. Chains. His wrists were chained to the wall. His clothes, silk robes, embroidered with gold thread, were torn and dirty. His hands were pale, soft, not his hands. These were the hands of a man who had never held a trophy, only a wine cup. "No," he whispered. A guard appeared outside the cell. Rusted iron bars. A torch. The man's face was cruel and bored. "Lord Jiang," he sneered. "The general will have your head by dawn. Did you sleep well? Your last sleep, I imagine." Jiang Chen's heart stopped. Iron and Silk. Chapter 3. The Villain, Jiang Chun. Same name, same face in the novel's illustration. Executed by General Yin Zheng, the iron-blooded butcher. He had transmigrated. Into a book. Into a corpse. No, he breathed, tugging at the chains. This wasn't real. This was a nightmare. He was an award-winning actor, not a doomed noble's son. He had a dressing room. He had a manager. The cell door opened with a screech of iron. Torchlight flooded the space. Then came the footsteps, heavy, deliberate, the footsteps of a man who had never retreated from anything. General Yin Zheng stepped inside. Jiang Chun had read the description. Tall as a mountain, scarred as a battlefield, eyes like unthawed winter. The novel had undersold him. The man was terrifying. Broad shoulders wrapped in black armor, a long sword at his hip, and a face that had seen horrors and become one itself. A scar ran from his left temple to his jaw, pale against bronze skin. But it was the eyes that froze Jiang Chen's blood. Dark, flat, utterly empty of anything except absolute certainty. Yin Zheng held up a small object, a jade pendant, carved into a wolf's head. "You were the boy who saved me from wolves in the northern forest," the general said. His voice was low, gravelly, without inflection. "You gave me this. Admit it, and I will spare you. Lie, and I will split your spine." Jiang Chen's actor brain, trained in 1,000 improvisation workshops, went into overdrive. "I don't know this subplot. I skimmed the book. I don't remember any boy. I'm going to die. I'm going to die in Chapter 3 of a mediocre web novel." But he did remember one thing. One line from a fan forum he'd scrolled through before the audition. A reader had complained, "The backstory is unrealistic. How would Yin Zheng remember the boy after 17 years? The author only wrote one line about pine trees." Pine trees. Jiang Chen looked up, his eyes on command filled with tears. Not the fake tears of a bad actor, but the real, physiological response of a man who had learned to cry on cue at 19. His lip trembled. His voice cracked. "You still remember my bare feet?" he whispered. "I haven't smelled pine in 17 years. Silence. The torch crackled. The guard shifted, confused. Yin Zheng's stoic mask cracked. For one microsecond, his eyes widened. Then the mask returned, but something had shifted behind it. Something raw. He stepped forward. His armored hand reached out, not for his sword, but for Jiang Chen's chains. With a single pull, he snapped them. "You will stay at the military base," Yin Zheng said, "as my guest." He turned and walked out, leaving the cell door open. Jiang Chun collapsed against the wall, shaking. "I'm a genius," he thought. "I'm dead. I'm a dead genius." Chapter 2. The Method Actor Survival Kit. The military base was worse than prison. Jiang Chun had expected tents and mud. Instead, he got a stone fortress with heated floors, some kind of underground kiln system, and a private courtyard with actual cherry blossoms. His quarters were larger than his first Beijing apartment. He tried to escape through the window. A guard immediately appeared below, looking up. "General, Yin said you would try. He says the eastern wall has a 50-foot drop. He recommends the door." Jiang Chun closed the window. At dinner, Yin Zheng sat across from him in a private hall. The food was excellent. Roasted duck, pickled vegetables, rice wine, but the interrogation was not. "Describe the forest," Yin Zheng said. He didn't eat. He watched. Jiang Chun took a slow bite of duck. "Improv. You've done this 1,000 times. Stay in character." "Pine trees," he said. "Tall ones." The ground was soft with needles. There was a stream nearby. I remember the sound. "Which direction did the stream flow?" "Damn. South," Jiang Chun said, guessing. Yin Zheng's eyes narrowed. "The forest north of the pass has a stream that flows east." "You said south." Jiang Chen's heart hammered. He smiled, soft and sad. 17 years is a long time, General. My memory has softened." Yin Zheng considered this. Then he nodded. "Acceptable. Continue." "How many wolves?" Jiang Chen remembered the fan forum. 7. The alpha had a limp. Left front paw. Something flickered across Yin Zheng's face. Pain? Gratitude? He looked down at his untouched rice. Only the boy would know that. Lucky guess, Jiang Chen thought. "Thank you, obsessive fan forums." He relaxed. Too much. He pushed his bowl away and sighed dramatically. "I'd rather die than eat this bland porridge." The porridge wasn't bland. It was excellent. But Jiang Chun was a drama queen by nature and old habits. Yin Zheng stood. "Guards, arrest the cook." "What?" Jiang Chun shot to his feet. "No, that was artistic expression." Yin Zheng turned, utterly serious. "Express art with facts. Lies are poison. The cook's porridge is not bland. You lied. He suffers." "I didn't mean it literally." "Then do not say it." Yin Zheng sat back down. The guards hesitated. "Release the cook. But if Lord Jiang lies again, you will both be punished." The cook, a trembling old man, was released. Jiang Chun wanted to sink into the floor. This man takes everything literally. Everything. He spent the rest of dinner speaking in short, declarative sentences. "The duck is good. I am full. I would like to sleep now." Yin Zheng seemed pleased. As Jiang Chun stood to leave, he made his final mistake. He was tired. He was stressed. And he had a lifetime of theatrical politeness ingrained in his bones. He bowed deeply and said, "Thank you for your hospitality, my lord." "My lord." With intimacy. With warmth. Yin Zheng stood. His face was unreadable, but his posture shifted, straighter, more formal. "You call me my lord with intimacy," Yin Zheng said. "That implies a bond. In my culture, that bond is formalized by a rehearsal of marital vows. We begin tomorrow at dawn." Jiang Qin choked. "A what?" "Marital vows. A rehearsal. We will bow to each other 3 times. We will exchange symbolic gifts. We will practice the wedding ceremony until it is perfect. But we're not. I didn't mean. That's not how language works." Yin Zheng tilted his head. "You say my lord as a wife says it to a husband. I heard you. I am literal. We rehearse at dawn." He walked away. Jiang Chun stood in the empty dining hall, mouth open. "I once played a groom in a period drama," he thought hysterically. The stage caught on fire. Chapter 3. Rehearsing the Unthinkable. Dawn came far too early. Jiang Chun was dragged. Escorted, he corrected himself, though the guards did grab his arms, to the training grounds. What he saw made him stop cold. A wedding altar. Not a real one, but a rehearsal one. Wooden practice, swords arranged as decorations. Red cloth draped over a stone table. 2 cushions on the ground, facing each other. Yin Zheng stood beside the altar, already in full armor. He looked like a god of war preparing for a ritual sacrifice, which Jiang Chun supposed he was. Rehearsal 1, the bow, Yin Zheng announced. You will bow to me as my spouse, and I to you as yours. 3 times. Begin. Jiang Chun laughed. He couldn't help it. It was a hysterical, slightly manic laugh. General, in the capital, we rehearse plays, not weddings. Yin Zheng didn't smile. You are an actor. I am a soldier. We rehearse what we will execute. Now bow. Execute. Charming word choice. Jiang Chun sighed. Fine. He could bow. He was a professional. He bowed to fake emperors, fake parents, fake gods. What was one more bow? He stepped onto the cushion, faced Yin Zheng, and bowed, deeply, dramatically, with the flourish of a man who had taken 3 years of classical theater training. Too deep. His forehead nearly hit the ground. He stumbled. Yin Zheng's hand shot out, catching his forehead. Gentle, calloused, warm. Good, Yin Zheng said. But don't strain your neck. I need you alive. Jiang Chen's face burned. He pulled back. You need me alive for what? More bowing. For the wedding. For the marriage. For the rest of our lives. Yin Zheng said it like it was obvious. Like Jiang Chun was being slow. Before Jiang Chun could respond, whispers rippled through the gathered soldiers. A crowd had formed at the edge of the training ground. Jiang Chun heard fragments. The general is courting the villain. He's lost his mind. Should we tell the emperor? Yin Zheng turned to face them. His voice carried across the entire base. I am not courting. I am contracting. There is a difference. Then he turned back to Jiang Chun, loud enough for everyone to hear. What is your preferred fabric for a wedding robe? Silk irritates my scars. I prefer cotton. Jiang Chun wanted to die, or kill someone, or both. Instead, something inside him snapped. The actor's mask cracked, and the terrified, exhausted, real Jiang Chun peeked through. Why are you doing this? He whispered. I'm nobody. I lied. I don't even know that forest. The whispers stopped. The soldiers froze. Yin Zheng's face didn't change, but his eyes softened. He stepped closer, close enough that Jiang Chun could smell iron and leather and something like cedar. I know you are not the boy, Yin Zheng said quietly. His voice was higher. He was smaller. But you remember the pine? You cried real tears in my cell. No one lies to me and cries truth. He paused. So I am marrying the man who tried to save me today, not the child who saved me yesterday. Jiang Chen's heart stuttered. Oh no, he thought. I'm catching feelings for the human lie detector. Chapter 4. The Saboteur's Script. Lady Wei arrived 3 days later. She was beautiful, of course. The novel's heroine always was. Porcelain skin, flowing black hair, a voice like wind chimes. She swept into the base with an entourage of servants and a face full of righteous fury. General Yin Zheng, she announced in the main hall. I demand the execution of Lord Jiang Chun. He bullied me. He had me kidnapped. He is a snake and a villain, and you are harboring him. Yin Zheng looked up from his maps. No. Lady Wei's eye twitched. Jiang Chun, sitting in the corner eating grapes. He had insisted on grapes, and Yin Zheng had ordered a crate shipped from the south, watched with amusement. In the novel, Lady Wei was a sweet, gentle heroine. In person, she was a shark in silk. General, she said, her voice hardening, I have a witness. A servant who saw the boy who saved you in the northern forest. He can prove Lord Jiang is an imposter. Jiang Chun stopped chewing. A servant stepped forward, old, wrinkled with cloudy eyes. He squinted at Jiang Chun. The boy had a mole under his left eye, the servant said. A dark one, like a teardrop. Jiang Chen's mind raced. He didn't have a mole. He had nothing. But he had something better, a makeup pencil. He had stolen it from maid 3 days ago, out of pure actor instinct. Old habits. He'd been doing his own makeup for years. Without standing, without breaking eye contact with the servant, he slipped the pencil from his sleeve. His hand moved to his face, a casual gesture, wiping away sweat. But in that motion, he drew a small, perfect mole under his left eye. Then he looked up. "You mean this?" The servant gasped. That's it. That's the mole." Lady Wei's face went white. "That's impossible. He didn't have that before." Yin Zheng studied Jiang Chen's face. Then he nodded. "The mole has shifted with age. Acceptable." Jiang Chen smiled sweetly at Lady Wei. "Thank you for your concern. But as you can see, I am exactly who I say I am." Lady Wei's hands clenched into fists. She smiled back, a razor blade wrapped in silk. "Of course, Lord Jiang. My mistake." She left that afternoon, but not before slipping a folded letter into the hands of a messenger hawk. Jiang Chen saw it from his window. He was a snoop by nature. Actors had to be. He followed the hawk to the edge of the base, where it landed on a post. He snatched the letter before it could fly. He read it once, then again. "To His Imperial Majesty, General Yin Zheng has been bewitched by the villain Jiang Chen. They are plotting rebellion. Execute them both before it is too late." Jiang Chen's blood ran cold. In the original novel, this letter was the trigger. Chapter 3, his execution. But they were already past Chapter 3. The timeline was broken, but the threat was real. He found Yin Zheng in the war room, surrounded by maps and officers. Without preamble, he slapped the letter on the table. "Your emperor is going to order my death. You know that, right?" Yin Zheng didn't look up. He traced a line on the map with his finger. "He will try. Try? He's the emperor. He has an army." Yin Zheng finally looked up. His dark eyes were calm, unshakable. "I have 50,000 men," he said. "And you have one husband." He slid a document across the table. Jiang Chen picked it up. It was a formal marriage contract, stamped with the general's seal, witnessed by 3 officers, legally binding under imperial law. Jiang Chen's hand shook. "You're insane." "No," Yin Zheng said. "I am literal. I said I would marry you. The paperwork is literal." Jiang Chen stared at the contract, then at Yin Zheng, then back at the contract. He signed it. "I once played a groom in a period drama," he muttered. "That ended with the stage burning down." Yin Zheng took the contract and tucked it into his armor. "Then we will not rehearse with fire." Chapter 5, the enemy's stage. The imperial envoy arrived within the week. 200 elite soldiers, banners flying, faces grim. The emperor's order was read aloud in the main courtyard. "By decree of His Imperial Majesty, Lord Jiang Chen is hereby sentenced to death for bewitching a general and conspiring against the throne. General Yin Zheng is ordered to stand down. Resistance will be considered treason." Yin Zheng stood in the gateway. His sword was sheathed, but his hand rested on the hilt. "No," he said. The envoy, a thin man with a weasel face, drew his sword. "Then you will both." Jiang Chen stepped forward. He didn't plan it. His body moved before his brain caught up. He fell to his knees, not gracefully, but hard, scraping his palms on the stone. Tears welled up instantly. His voice cracked, sword broke. "Take me," he cried, reaching toward the envoy with trembling hands. "But let my beloved live. I will die 1,000 deaths if it means he breathes one more sunrise. I am nothing. He is everything. Please, please, I beg you." The envoy hesitated. His sword wavered. Behind Jiang Chen, the soldiers shifted uncomfortably. A few looked away. One woman wiped her eyes. Yin Zheng watched. His face was unreadable, but something flickered in his gaze, something that might have been awe. Then he stepped forward and hauled Jiang Chen to his feet. "That was effective," he murmured. "But you are not dying." He turned to the envoy. "I propose a trial by combat. If I win, Jiang Chen lives. If I lose, we both die. Do you accept?" The envoy's eyes gleamed. He had brought his own champion, a hulking brute of a man, easily 6.5 feet tall, arms like tree trunks. "Accepted." Yin Zheng walked to the center of the courtyard. The champion charged. 12 seconds later, the champion was on the ground, unconscious, his own sword pressed against his throat. Yin Zheng didn't even breathe hard. He turned to Jiang Chen. "Your turn." Jiang Chen blinked. "My what?" "Trial by combat. You will fight the envoy's second champion." Yin Zheng pointed to a smaller, but still formidable, soldier. "I'm an actor. I fake fight." Yin Zheng handed him a wooden sword. "Then act like you can win." I will not hurt you. But they don't know that. Jiang Chun looked at the wooden sword, then at the soldier, then at Yin Zheng. I'm going to die. I'm going to die in the most embarrassing way possible. He stepped into the ring. The soldier lunged. Jiang Chun screamed, not in fear, but in theatrical fury. He swung the wooden sword wildly, spinning, ducking, weaving. He had no technique, no skill, but he had presence. He roared like a lion. He feinted left, then right, then fell to his knees dramatically, clutching his wounded leg. The soldier, confused, hesitated. Jiang Chun lunged forward and tapped the wooden sword against the soldier's helmet. Yield, he whispered. The soldier yielded. The envoy's face turned purple. But a deal was a deal. He retreated with his soldiers, vowing revenge. That night, Yin Zheng tended to Jiang Chen's injuries. There were none, but the general insisted on applying ointment to Jiang Chen's unscraped knees. You are braver than soldiers I've seen, Yin Zheng said quietly. Jiang Chen laughed, shaky. I was acting. Yin Zheng looked up. His dark eyes held Jiang Chen's. So was I, he said. When I said I wouldn't hurt you, I would have broken every bone in that man's body if he touched you. Jiang Chen's face burned. He looked away, but he didn't pull his knee from Yin Zheng's gentle hands. Chapter 6. The Bedding Ceremony, Literal. The bedding ceremony will begin at dusk, Yin Zheng announced at breakfast. Jiang Chun, who had been happily eating congee, stopped mid-bite. The what? Bedding ceremony. Traditional military ritual. Newlyweds share a tent for 3 nights to ensure marital harmony. Jiang Chen's brain short-circuited. That's a metaphor, right? For getting to know each other. Yin Zheng tilted his head. No, it is a tent, with a bed. We will share it. Jiang Chen opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. You're serious. I'm always serious. The tent was not small. It was a command tent, large enough for 20 soldiers, but only had 1 bed. Yin Zheng lay down on the far edge, still in full armor. His sword was beside him. His boots were still on. Jiang Chun stood in the entrance, wrapped in a sleeping robe. Are you going to sleep like that? Yes. You'll be uncomfortable. I will be alive. Assassins are uncomfortable. I prefer to be alive. Jiang Chun sighed and climbed into the other side of the bed. The mattress was surprisingly soft. He lay on his back, staring at the canvas ceiling. You talk in your sleep, Yin Zheng said after a long silence. Jiang Chun turned his head. I do not. Last night, you said, the lighting director is a hack. Jiang Chun closed his eyes in mortification. That was a dream about my old life. What is a lighting director? Before Jiang Chun could answer, the tent flap rustled. Yin Zheng moved faster than thought. His sword was out, his body between Jiang Chun and the intruder. A blade clashed. A body fell. Then silence. Yin Zheng wiped his sword on the assassin's cloak and returned to bed. Jiang Chun, shaking, grabbed Yin Zheng's arm. Don't leave. I have a scene with you tomorrow. Yin Zheng froze. Then, slowly he lay back down. He didn't pull his arm away. I will stay, he said, but only because you asked literally. In the dark, Jiang Chun whispered, I'm not the boy from the forest. I'm from somewhere else. A world with cameras and lights. I'm a fraud. Silence stretched between them. Then Yin Zheng said, I know. You smell of city ink, not pine. But you chose to stay. The boy ran away. You stayed. He pulled Jiang Chun closer. A single, firm motion, like a general repositioning his troops. That is not a lie. That is a choice. Jiang Chun cried. Real tears, not acted. He buried his face in Yin Zheng's armored chest and sobbed. Yin Zheng wiped his tears with a scarred thumb. You are my husband now. Liars can be husbands. But husbands do not lie to each other about how they feel. Jiang Chun looked up. Their faces were inches apart. I feel. He swallowed. I feel like I'm not acting anymore. Then don't. Jiang Chun kissed him. It was clumsy, too much teeth, bad angle, desperate. But Yin Zheng kissed back like it was a military order. Precise. Overwhelming. Final. When they broke apart, Yin Zheng's stoic face was flushed. That was acceptable, he said. Jiang Chun laughed, wet and happy. High praise. Sleep, Yin Zheng ordered. Tomorrow, we rehearse the vows again. You mean the wedding? I mean the vows. The wedding is already legal. Now, we practice the emotion. Jiang Chun smiled against his husband's shoulder. For the first time in his life, he wasn't acting. Chapter 7. The Siege of Truth. The emperor sent a legion, 5,000 men. They surrounded the base at dawn, banners snapping in the wind, siege engines rumbling into position. Yin Zheng stood on the wall, counting. 4,732. We can hold. Jiang Chun stood beside him, pale. You can hold. I can't hide. No. Yin Zheng turned to him. You will parley. Parley? I'm an actor, not a diplomat. You are an actor. That is exactly what a diplomat is. Yin Zheng pointed to the enemy lines. They have orders to kill me on sight. But you are the bewitched victim. They might listen to you. Jiang Chun stared at the enemy army. Then he took a deep breath. Acting. Just acting. The biggest stage of your life. He walked out alone. The enemy soldiers parted as he approached. He was wearing white, a deliberate choice. White for mourning. White for innocence. White for the bride he had never been. He stopped in the middle of the field, 50 yards from the enemy commander, and began to speak. He didn't shout. He didn't weep. He spoke softly, intimately, like a man confessing an altar. I am Jiang Chun, he said. You have been told I am a villain. A bewitcher. A snake. He paused. You have been told wrong. He told them a story. Not the true story. He couldn't tell them about transmigration and novels. He told them a different story. A story about a lonely general who saved an empire and asked for nothing in return. A story about a foolish noble's son who saw that loneliness and wanted desperately to fill it. I lied to him, Jiang Chun admitted. I pretended to be someone I wasn't. But he knew. He always knew. And he chose me anyway. His voice cracked. On purpose, but the emotion behind it was real. Kill me if you must. But General Yin Zheng is the only honest man in this empire. And I am the only liar who loves him. Silence. Then, from the enemy lines, a sword clattered to the ground. A soldier stepped forward. Young, scared with tears in his eyes. I believe him. Another soldier stepped forward. Then another. The commander's face twisted with fury. Stand down. That's an order. But the second in command, a grizzled veteran with a scarred face, threw down his own sword. I follow the general, not the emperor. A chain reaction. Half the legion switched sides. From a wall, Yin Zheng watched. His stoic face finally broke into a small, incredulous smile. He rode out. He didn't give a speech. He simply stood beside Jiang Chun, drew his sword, and said, I am literal. If you attack him, I will kill you. If you retreat, I will not. Those are the only options. The remaining enemy soldiers looked at each other. Then they knelt. The emperor, hearing the news, suffered a stroke. The empire fell into chaos. And Yin Zheng, reluctantly, inevitably, became the new military ruler. That night, he turned to Jiang Chun. You started a rebellion with a monologue. Jiang Chun grinned, exhausted and exhilarated. I once played a revolutionary. The critics said I was overwhelmingly sincere. Yin Zheng kissed him in front of 10,000 soldiers. It was, Jiang Chun thought, the best review he had ever received. Chapter 8. The Final Rehearsal. 6 months later, the war was over. Yin Zheng was the new emperor, a title he despised. He wore the crown like a punishment, spending his days in war rooms instead of throne rooms, still more comfortable with a sword than a scepter. Jiang Chun was the imperial consort, though he insisted on being called lead actor of the realm. He had a small theater built in the palace and spent his mornings teaching drama to the imperial children. Their wedding, the real one, not the rehearsal, was scheduled for the first day of spring. I want a small ceremony, Jiang Chun said for the 100th time. Yin Zheng looked up from his maps. I want a 21-gun salute. That's not a wedding. That's a war crime. It is tradition. Our tradition is that we're already married. Remember? The paperwork. Yin Zheng frowned. Paperwork is not a celebration. Celebration requires gunpowder. They compromised. A theatrical performance of their love story, written by Jiang Chun, starring Jiang Chun, directed by Jiang Chun. Yin Zheng raised an eyebrow. So, you will play yourself? Jiang Chen grinned. I always do. Badly. The night before the wedding, Jiang Chun found Yin Zheng in the old military base. The general, no, the emperor, sat alone in the empty training ground, holding the jade pendant. His armor was off. His face was bare. He looked small, vulnerable, human. Jiang Chun sat beside him. What are you doing here? Yin Zheng didn't look up. I knew, he said quietly. From the first night, when you cried in the cell, I knew you weren't the boy. Jiang Chen's heart clenched. Why didn't you kill me? Because I wanted to believe. Yin Zheng turned the pendant over in his scarred fingers. Someone saved me once, a child who didn't know fear. And I spent 17 years looking for him, only to realize I wasn't looking for him. I was looking for someone who would stay. He looked at Jiang Chun. His dark eyes were wet. You stayed. Jiang Chun took the pendant. It was warm from Yin Zheng's hands. I can't save you from wolves, he said, but I can save you from loneliness. That's a better scene anyway. He told Yin Zheng everything. The truth. The whole truth. About transmigration, about novels, about a world with cameras and lights, and a trophy that meant nothing. He expected anger. He expected disbelief. Instead, Yin Zheng asked, In your world, am I a character? Jiang Chen nodded. Yes, but then I am real now. Yin Zheng took Jiang Chen's hand. I choose to stay real. With you. Jiang Chen's breath caught. That is the most literal thing you have ever said. Yin Zheng almost smiled. I know. The wedding was not small. It was not large. It was perfect. Jiang Chen wore a robe of pine green silk, a nod to the lie that had started everything. Yin Zheng wore his armor, polished to a mirror shine, but with a red sash tied around his waist. The traditional color of a groom. They stood before the altar, the same wooden altar from the rehearsal, now decorated with real flowers instead of practice swords. The gathered crowd included generals, servants, former enemies, and one very confused former manager from another world who had somehow stumbled through a portal and decided to stay. 3 bows, the officiant announced. First bow, to heaven and earth. Second bow, to the ancestors. Third bow, to each other. As they rose from the third bow, Jiang Chun whispered, I love you. That's not a line. Yin Zheng whispered back, I know. I verified it with 3 independent witnesses. Jiang Chun laughed, loud and real and full of joy, and kissed his stoic, literal, impossible husband as the new empire cheered. Epilogue. The Marshal's Report. 6 months after the wedding, Marshal Yin Zheng sat at his desk. A plain oak slab that had once been a war table, now covered in papers that smelled of ink instead of blood. Outside his study, the new empire hummed with the slow, uncertain rhythm of peace. He did not understand peace. Peace was a concept. Concepts were difficult. War was simple. Enemies on one side, allies on the other, and a clear set of rules for killing the former and protecting the latter. Peace had no rules. Peace had negotiations, compromises, and metaphors. He hated metaphors. His husband, Jiang Chun, used metaphors constantly. I'm dying of thirst. He was not dying. He had simply not drunk water for 2 hours. This meeting is killing me. The meeting was not lethal. Yin Zheng had checked. You are my sun and moon. Yin Zheng was a human man. He did not emit light. And yet, when Jiang Chun said these things, Yin Zheng's chest did something strange. It tightened. It warmed. It felt, for lack of a better word. And Yin Zheng always demanded the best word, full. He did not understand that either. He picked up his brush and dipped it in ink. Writing was easier than speaking. Writing could be edited. Speaking could not. He had been working on a document for 3 months. It was not a military report. It was not a decree. It was something else entirely. The title read, Our Marriage, a Tactical Manual with Diagrams. He turned to Chapter 1, How to Hold Your Husband's Hand Without Crushing His Fingers. He had written it after the 3rd time Jiang Chun had yelped and pulled away. Yin Zheng's hands were made for swords, not for softness. He had measured the pressure required to crush a human hand, approximately 45 kilograms of force, and calculated the safe range, 3 to 5 kilograms. He had drawn diagrams. Jiang Chun had laughed when he saw it, laughed until he cried. Yin Zheng had not understood the laughter, but he had noted it. Husband laughs at diagrams. Reason, unknown, but laughter is not pain. Laughter is acceptable. He turned to Chapter 2, How to Identify When Your Husband is Lying. This chapter was shorter. He had written only one line. He is always lying. But when he lies about loving you, his left eye twitches. That is the only lie that matters. He stared at the line. Then he added a footnote. His left eye has not twitched in 6 months. The study door opened. Yin Zheng did not look up. He knew the footsteps, light, theatrical, slightly offbeat, as if their owner was always walking to music only he could hear. Jiang Chun. Working hard, his husband said, draping himself across the back of Yin Zheng's chair. His chin landed on Yin Zheng's shoulder. His hair smelled of pine. Deliberately, Yin Zheng knew. Jiang Chun had imported pine oil from the north. He wore it every day. He chose to smell like the lie, Yin Zheng thought. He chose to remind me every day that he is not the boy from the forest. He is something better. He is the man who stayed. Yes, Yin Zheng said. I am writing. Writing what? Love letters? Poetry? Jiang Chen's voice was teasing. He was always teasing. Yin Zheng had learned to identify teasing. It was when Jiang Chen's mouth curved upward, but his eyes stayed soft. Teasing was not lying. Teasing was play. Yin Zheng was still learning play. A tactical manual, Yin Zheng said. Jiang Chun laughed. That sound again, bright and unguarded. A tactical manual for what? Conquering neighboring kingdoms. For marriage. The laughter stopped. Jiang Chen's chin lifted from his shoulder. Yin Zheng felt him lean closer, peering at the pages. Wait, Jiang Chun said slowly. Is this about us? Yes. You wrote a tactical manual about us. Yes. Chapter 1, Handholding. Chapter 2, Lying. Chapter 3 is incomplete. Jiang Chun was silent for a long moment. Then he made a sound Yin Zheng had never heard before, a kind of strangled gasp, halfway between a laugh and a sob. You, Jiang Chun said, his voice cracking, are the most ridiculous man I have ever met. Yin Zheng turned his head. Their faces were inches apart. Is that an insult? No. Jiang Chen's eyes were wet. His left eye was not twitching. It's the highest compliment I own. Yin Zheng cataloged this. Ridiculous equals compliment. Add to dictionary. Jiang Chen reached over and picked up the brush. May I? You may. Jiang Chen turned to a blank page at the end of the manual. His handwriting was wild, looping, nothing like Yin Zheng's precise strokes. He wrote, Chapter 3, How to Kiss a General Who Doesn't Understand Metaphors. Use fewer metaphors. Then he looked at Yin Zheng. I'm going to kiss you now. Literally. No metaphors. I understand literal, Yin Zheng said. Good. Jiang Chen kissed him. Yin Zheng had been kissed before. Not many times. He had never seen the tactical advantage of kissing, but enough to know that most kisses were soft, tentative, polite. Jiang Chen's kisses were not polite. They were overwhelming. They were declarations. They were the opposite of a tactical retreat. Every time Jiang Chen kissed him, Yin Zheng felt his carefully constructed walls crumble, felt the armor around his heart rust and fall away. He did not understand it, but he did not need to understand it. He only needed to document it. When the kiss ended, Jiang Chun was smiling. His left eye was not twitching. His face was flushed. His breathing was uneven. Yin Zheng picked up his brush and wrote beneath Jiang Chen's chapter title. Method. Approach husband within 10 centimeters. Tilt head 15 degrees to the right. Close eyes. Apply gentle pressure for 3 to 5 seconds. Repeat as necessary. Note, husband may cry. This is not a tactical error. This is normal. Jiang Chen read it. His eyes welled up. Why are you crying? Yin Zheng asked, alarmed. I calculated the pressure carefully. I did not exceed 5 kilograms. I'm crying because you calculated the pressure, Jiang Chen said, laughing and crying at the same time. I'm crying because you wrote a manual. I'm crying because... He stopped. Swallowed. I'm crying because I love you. Yin Zheng considered this. Is that a metaphor? No. Jiang Chen wiped his eyes. That's a fact. Yin Zheng nodded. He picked up his brush and added one more line to the manual. Final note. Husband says he loves me. This is not a lie. Verified 3 times. We'll continue to verify daily for the rest of our lives. He looked at Jiang Chen. I love you too. That is also a fact. Jiang Chen's face crumpled. He climbed into Yin Zheng's lap, a maneuver Yin Zheng had not anticipated, and buried his face in his husband's neck. I don't deserve you, Jiang Chen whispered. Yin Zheng wrapped his arms around him. He remembered the pressure calculations. He applied 4 kilograms. Gentle. Safe. You are my husband, Yin Zheng said. Deserve is not a tactical concept. You are here. You stayed. That is all I require. Jiang Chen laughed against his skin. You're impossible. I am literal. Same thing. Yin Zheng frowned. No. Literal and impossible are different. Literal means... Jiang Chen kissed him again, stopping the explanation. Yin Zheng decided the explanation could wait. Later, much later, Yin Zheng sat alone in his study. The manual was closed. Jiang Chen was asleep in their bed, wrapped in pine-scented blankets, muttering something about lighting directors. Yin Zheng picked up a fresh sheet of paper. He had never been good with words. Words were slippery. Words could be twisted. Words had killed more soldiers than swords. Lies dressed as orders, promises dressed as treaties. But he had learned something in the past 6 months. He had learned that some words, when spoken by the right person, were not weapons. Some words were anchors. He dipped his brush and began to write. Not a manual this time. Not a report. Something else. Before Jiang Chen, I understood 3 things: duty, loyalty, and war. I did not understand warmth. I did not understand laughter. I did not understand why a person would choose to stay when staying offered no tactical advantage. He paused. He is a liar. He lies about small things, whether he has eaten, whether he is tired, whether he was crying or just had something in his eye. But he does not lie about the large things. He does not lie about staying. He does not lie about love. I have executed men for lying. I have never once wanted to execute my husband. This is love. I do not understand it. But I have documented it. I have verified it. I have built a manual around it. If he ever leaves, I will not execute him. I will simply stop understanding the world. He set down the brush. The paper was not a manual. It was not a report. It was not anything he could show to another person. It was, he realized, a love letter. He had never written one before. He had never seen the point. Love was an action, not a document. Love was staying. Love was calculating the safe pressure for hand-holding. Love was waking up at 3 a.m. to chase away nightmares about lighting directors. But perhaps love could also be words. He folded the paper and tucked it into his armor, against his heart. He would not show it to Jiang Chen. Not yet. Perhaps not ever. But it was there. A record. A proof. In the bedroom, Jiang Chen called out in his sleep. The curtains falling. Someone catch the chandelier. Yin Zheng stood. He walked to the bedroom. He lay down beside his husband. He pulled Jiang Chen close, 4 kilograms of pressure, and closed his eyes. This is love, he thought. This is literal. This is real. He did not dream of wolves anymore. He dreamed of pine trees.